Hmm. Hmm. Feel a sort of buzzing happening in, in my teeth, in my fingers as I start. I have a lot of energy this morning. Also thoroughly amused this time. It started at 4 minutes and 38 seconds for the timer. Yeah, I think the Facebook Live timer is just insane now. Um, Let me switch over to streaming from Zoom more often anyway. Hmm. Yeah, a lot of agitation and a little tension in my chest. And my head gets a lot of energy right now. There's a lot of calculation and a little putting on airs. Like this a very particular sensation like wearing a cloak. This is a subtle sensation. And if you've been watching my previous videos, I actually mean subtle fairly precisely. I could also say an etheric. It's an etheric sensation. This quality of, I used to describe it as putting a mask on, and there's definitely a mask flavor to it, but there's also a wrapping sort of around my shoulders and around my chest. If I were to wear that a little bit more, I would come across in a very particular way. Right? It's this little bit of, it's like pulling on a capacity that I have, but it's pulling. So rather than it emerging naturally from the stillness, there's this, it's an egoic structure. It's an attempt to mimic the power of clarity from stillness, but to address to address it from the mechanical level, um, where there is no free will. So this morning, in a little less than an hour, I'm going to be running a session on the Stoa. If you're watching this and you go, oh, I didn't know about this, I want to watch this. Okay, well, you can actually participate if you want to. You can find out about that by going to thestoa.ca, not thestoa.com, thestoa.ca. And the event is called Unsaving the World. And one of the reasons I wanted to make sure I jump in this morning and do my live stream, because there's a whole host of reasons. Some of them include that I'm at my clearest and most able to show up fully first thing in the morning. It just seems to be how I am. So I like doing these in the morning when I can. But it's also because even in taking a walk this morning, watching the sunrise, it's a gorgeous sunrise. A quick aside: where I am, there's a place I can walk out to look over the entire city, and I can look to the east and see Mount Rainier. And I couldn't quite tell exactly where the sun was rising, but it looked like the sun was rising directly behind the mountain. It snuck behind clouds, and my stargazing app was giving incoherent descriptions of where the sun should be, so I had to ignore it. But it was just a beautiful display of the mountain being backlit by this nuclear blast. It's just absolutely gorgeous. But I found it difficult to be present with that beauty because my mind was churning on, well, how do I prepare well? How do I, am I not ready? Have I not put this together? Oh, here's a criticism of how I'm approaching this. I came up with content, but I didn't focus on the frequency. How do I come up with the right frequency? Oh wait, that's extraction from where the frequencies come from. That's not the energy it's not the meta energy that I want. How do I do this? And all of these buzzy thoughts, like I know better. But there's this agitation, and that's the buzzing that's happening in the pit of my stomach that's creating tension in my chest. There's this recognition that I'm about to go on stage. And then the parts of me that need a validation are waking up. It's what Eckhart Tolle would call the pain body. This is a different quality of pain body than the one I was talking about yesterday, if you saw that video. Rather than it being an acute thing that, bam, oh, like I'm now possessed, but I don't think I'm possessed. I think everyone's an asshole. or this long but relentless overwhelm of, oh, I'm worried about what I'm doing. For me, there's this, and instead, this version has a long, slow quality, and it's intertwined with the desire to help. It wants to help me, and it inspires in me a desire to help others. And some of that is very clean and pure. Some. Some of it is coming from the causal level, from the subtler than subtle, from the same place that intention is, the same place that the utter stillness of seeing from behind the eyes is. It was a beautiful map. I sort of outlined it a couple of days ago. I've been finding immensely clarifying. I've had it in the back of my mind for a while, but this even just having 3 levels of physical, subtle, causal, and noticing, oh, there are bodies this refers to, and it's these specific experiences. And now that I have a map that my mind can understand, there's a way I can use my mind a little more helpfully for encouraging clarity. But right now I am not at my clearest. I notice that, and there's pain associated with it, this urgency of, I've got to present well. Oh God, am I ready? I wanted to take some time this morning and show up from as much clarity as I can and sort of let that work me, let it sort of wash through. Even just naming that, I feel like I have more room to breathe. And something that hurts. And here I feel like I have space to hold it, and it's just something that hurts. Low in the pit of my stomach. Related to a fear of what others think of me. What others will think. The same part that gets validation from others' admiration and being impressed and grateful for what I teach and how I show up and amazed at my style of presentation, feels hurt when that doesn't happen or when the opposite happens. When I show up for giving a kind of presentation and it doesn't go well, it doesn't go well according to me. Like I can rack myself with guilt and misery very, very quickly, even before I have a chance to get clear feedback from others. Oh, that really touched me. Oh, this part was very powerful, because in particular there's a part of me that is tracking, how clear am I? I know that if I am present and I am still, inside, still inside, if I'm prioritizing my rooting and anchoring in the eternal, and I can feel that, then what I have to say and what I have to share comes through just fine. More importantly, I end up saying and sharing in a way that is useful and powerful for me, and turns out to be useful and powerful for others. I know that. I see it over and over and over and over again. And if I make sure that I impact others, if I try really hard, that gets in the way. And I can be entertaining. I can be compelling. I can describe ideas clearly sometimes. Sometimes I cut off too much energy when I'm doing that, and I can't even describe anything clearly. Can't teach well. But even if I can present well, I know that from that space, it doesn't matter. I share interesting ideas, it might spur some conversations, but it doesn't change anything really fundamental about how a married couple interacts. Like if one of them watches my video and then goes and talks to their spouse and goes, huh, okay, I can feel what he's talking about. Like that doesn't happen when I'm describing these abstractions. Even if I try to give lots of examples, it's coming from a place of fear. and anxiety and shame. That's what transmits at the body level. So I have seen people learn from what I share with a tone of, oh, right, I really should use this technique, or I really should remember this thing. Oh, right, I missed this thing. I could use this tool. Oh, of course I could. Oh, that's a lot of pain. Ow, I fucked up. Ow, I messed up here. Oh, right. Okay, I need to make sure I do this. Oh, okay. Seeing the reflection of what I'm doing in myself, in my impact on others. I don't want that impact, and I don't want to live that way. One of my teachers, Perry Chase, keeps emphasizing that one entertaining way she put it is, I want you to imagine that you are the MC for God. The show is not about you. You're there to introduce God. Your job is to walk up there, to start things up, and then get out of the way. And I experience that directly more and more. It's a metaphor. And it's a metaphor that is pointing at a very real and concrete experience. Like, is what is speaking the same place that experiences the absolute beauty of this moment? Answering that as a koan is beautifully helpful, very clarifying. Hmm. Just getting back in touch with my body. I actually feel pretty complete here. This is a quick snapshot. And importantly, this feels like a beautiful what am I trying to say there? I feel good now. Which is part of the point of making sure this happens right before doing my um, my session. Thank you for listening.